Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again, Mark and Ken.
What's the crack?
Episode 202 of the Shite podcast show.
And the first intro we didn't fuck up in a while.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. Do you know, a few more episodes and I think we'll be perfect.
Yeah, we might actually be semi-pro at this.
Yeah, we're getting there very, very slowly. What's the crack with yourself anyway? Any news?
No, everything's still shite.
Did you hear about the lead drummer of Slipknot, Joey? I never think of his surname.
Jordison.
I don't know why I say lead drummer, but I guess in Slipknot it's quite apt to say the lead drummer. Yeah, they have several drummers.
Yeah, it's pretty. I like Slipknot.
Yeah,
I like Murder as well.
Yeah, Murder Dolls was his other side project. He didn't play drums in Murder Dolls. Didn't he play like guitar?
Yeah, he was a guitarist in Murder Dolls. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he left Slipknot
He left Slipknot a few years ago. He was diagnosed with a form of MS.
All right.
And the rest of the band decided to sack him because he was like, look, I need a bit more time to play drums, to learn how to play drums with my condition.
And they're like, go.
And they were like, oh, go fuck yourself. They thought that he was like, in fairness, he didn't make it public that he had a form of MS. He just kind of like told them, and they were like, oh, this guy's like back on drugs or something. Yes, that's what happened to him.
All right, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I went on to Corey Taylor's Instagram just to see, because I seen articles up and I seen you posted something. So I was like, I wonder what happened. I wonder if Corey Taylor has that up. And he just had changed his profile to a black screen. And then, yeah, it's kind of like his kind of subtle nod to losing a friend. Yeah,
he died in his sleep, so I'd say it was something to do with his MS kind of thing. The type that he had, it like affects your lungs, like it can make your lungs stop. So I'd say he stopped breathing in his sleep.
Yeah, but it sounds like he had his family by his side. It wasn't a shock to them anyway. It came from a post that I read. But yeah, but it's sad. Like a absolute class drummer. I remember watching a live concert. It was like Metallica and Slipknot were doing a tour together. Would have been absolutely amazing to be at that. Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, really? And like Lars, for whatever reason, wasn't playing. They had him playing with Metallica. It looks so fucking surreal.
Yeah, he passed out on the plane. He had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
Joey stepped up and played drums.
That's insane though. That short notice to learn an entire set.
He done that a lot. Like there's loads of bands like that were touring America and something happened to the drummer and they were like, I wonder what Joey's doing. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah,
I'd like, speaking just from a guy who's never ever played drums and know nothing about music, I was like, is it a little bit easier for drummers to just go along with a beat? Is there like...
I don't think so.
Yeah, because like if drums are out, it fucks everything up on the band because basically the drums are the rhythm of the band.
Yeah, if you fuck up the drums, you fucked up the whole thing. Yeah, I think he was a bit of a prodigy though. I don't think he ever like got guitar lessons or like drum lessons or anything. He taught himself.
Oh, really? That's insane. Yeah. That, like some people can just pick it up like that. You see that in like a lot of things. Like some people who like they'll pick up either real quick, or else they'll be just really creative at something that no one will ever show them. Oh, here's how you do this. They'll just kind of just be playing around with it, and then
just be like, oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, other people need like step by step instructions. It takes like a long time to perfect it. There's like it's just by trial and error, and it just takes a long time to get the basics right. But like without instruction, they'd be lost.
Yeah, like I remember when I learned guitar, my guitar teacher was kind of like, look, I'm only going to teach you the basics and teach you how to teach yourself. So he'd done 10 lessons and he's like, now I've taught you everything you need to know and now fuck off and learn yourself.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting way of teaching it.
Because he was like, there's no point in me teaching you how to play songs and stuff that you don't want to learn.
Yeah, well, when I learned guitar, because I did get lessons, he just said, what songs do you want to learn? And obviously he'd like then say, oh, okay, that's maybe a little bit too advanced. Pick a simpler song and then But like pretty much anything I want to learn. I think one of the songs I first picked was like One by Metallica.
How did that go?
Do you know the opening to One by Metallica is relatively simple? You know, do 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 do. That part
Yeah.
is simple. It's just like there's this.
Then you get into like.
He's like, just learn the first page. Learn the intro. He going, no, pick a different song. So it's like, I think I learned a Offspring song as well.
First song I ever learned was A Horse with No Name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just 2 chords. I learned that my very first guitar lesson.
I don't know. I think my very first guitar lesson was just how to strum it properly.
In my first guitar lesson, he was like, I'm going to teach you a song, and you're going to learn a song every lesson, and that's going to be the way it is.
Oh, a full song?
Yeah, I'm going to teach you a song every lesson, and then by the end of your 10 lessons, you'll be able to teach yourself any song you want to learn.
That's cool. I'm sure, like, if he did like converted that to Zoom or online, he would probably be pretty successful.
Yeah, I think he gave up. He had a heart attack, I think.
Jesus. Did he give up or die? He quit. Well, he just stopped breathing. But same difference.
Yeah, same thing. What a sellout.
Well, yeah, what a sellout. I guess it's fair enough. If you're dead, you're not going to make a very good teacher.
Well, you might.
You might be a better one. Especially if all your lessons pre-recorded.
Yeah, you'd be sorted then.
Yeah, exactly. I went to the cinema the other day. Also, other news in my life. First time back in the cinema since probably sometime in the winter. Sometime maybe, I think I went to see Wonder Woman. So whenever Wonder Woman was out, that's the last time I was in the cinema.
How did that go?
I went to see Space Jam, the new one with LeBron James. I'm such a big basketball fan. I had to go.
And was it a child-destroying experience, or was it actually good?
Yeah, it wasn't a childhood destroying experience. It didn't ruin the previous one. Like the previous one is great and has like a sentimental value to it. This one, and then like this one, this is like Warner Brothers going, look how much properties we own. It's just like, we own DC Comics. We made this movie. Look at Game of Thrones. We had a part to play in this. So I was like, did you?
Shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, it just was them like fucking sucking themselves off basically for the entire movie. So there was that bit, and there was like some really really cringy parts. Like I don't want to ruin it. And this probably won't ruin it for you. So I kind of feel like I can get away with it. Yeah, spoiler alert. Anyway, so like there's a basketball game during the movie, and LeBron's on one team, and there's bad guys on the other team. Shocker. Anyway, but the audience is made up of real people, but also properties owned by Warner Brothers. So they had like the Adam West Batman and Robin. And it just looked so bad. And then they had the ice guy from Game of Thrones, and he was in pajamas for some reason, I don't know. And then there was other kind of things, like the clown from It was there, and this is like they're all cheering and booing. There's just basically extras, and I was like, it just looks so cheap and cringy. You're like, why are you doing this? This looks bad. So there's bits in that movie that wasn't great. Like it was like the storyline is good, it's solid, it's funny. There's like kind of references to the original one, and there's like Bugs Bunny's hilarious. So like that part is all right. But yeah, the cringy Warner Brothers stuff. Yeah, and there's subtle nods to like sponsors as well. Like LeBron James in part of the movie falls through the ground, and instead of making a silhouette of LeBron James, it was a Nike symbol. Like I thought that was funny enough, like in terms of like obviously advertisement. How much did Nike pay for that? But like also it's like, really? Is this the world that we're living in now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so like I like my recommendation is just wait till it comes out on either Netflix or Amazon, or rent it. Don't pay for. But no, one thing of the experience of the movie was like, all right, I don't want to have kids. So, but it just solidified that so it just solidified like kids are like. I understand why people would shoot up a cinema. Like after that, it was just so badly run. Like the whole entire thing was, and like I know these people are on minimum wage and hate their job and all that other whatever. But there's just like no organization, and there's just wild creatures fucking tearing around the place, screaming, just being uncontrollable. As I was like, who let these people in here? Why are they not allowed into this thing? I was like, oh yeah, this is a kids' movie. I understand now. This probably isn't like if you don't want to be around kids, this is not the best place to be. But still, there's like no structure of there's no proper line. There's just like it's like people going into the cinema formed their own kind of weird line that had like this create so because like there was two tills but one line, and at no point did anyone kind of organize into two lines. Say, okay, you group over here, you group over there, 2 meters apart, whatever. And it's just like it was taking forever. Like the line was just moving so slowly. I was just like, Is this what it was like before? This maybe I just hadn't been in cinema in a while, and
I've gone to the cinema a couple of times since they reopened, and like I've had no issues. Like,
have you ever went to see a movie that is going to have a high kids thingy?
You see, I would tend to wait till they come out on a streaming service.
Yeah. Did notice another thing?
Unless it's something that I really, 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 really want to see.
Another thing that I noticed was it was actually reasonably. It was like for 2 tickets, it was €16.
Yeah, they've lowered their prices,
which is good because I was like, that's really reasonable because Black Widow on Disney Plus is
£30.
Well, it's 30 quid. I thought it was €22. We're going to do
like 30 quid, I think.
I thought it was 22, but like, yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's really expensive. Like. To rent, and because I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Gus, and I was like, he's like, did you see Black Widow? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'll just wait till it's free and I'll watch on Disney. He's like, oh, I paid for it. And I was like, wasn't it? I thought it was 20 quid, so maybe it was 20 or 30 quid. And he goes, oh yeah, but like I watched it with my girlfriend, so I just took it as like 2 cinema tickets. So if we were going to cinema, it would probably, after you get like popcorn and stuff like that, it would probably cost us about the same.
And I went to see it in the cinema.
Yeah, and like in the cinema, like okay, if you do get popcorn and all that other shit, it is going to cost about 30 quid. But it's like €6 in the difference between a cinema ticket or 2 cinema tickets and like what you're streaming off your laptop, basically.
Yeah, like that's what I just went to see it in the cinema. I was like, fuck it, fuck paying. Like it was going to work out cheaper, so fuck paying. Even if you're going to watch a movie at home, generally you're going to eat snacks and shit anyway. So fuck it, let's just go to cinema and see it.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to buy in popcorn. You're going to buy in. Like, you're probably going to pay similar-ish, probably a little bit cheaper if you. A
little bit cheaper, but you've got a fucking screen that's bigger than your laptop.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be sitting in a comfortable-ish seat, and you get popcorn, and I always like the cola in the.
Yeah, Cinema Coke is the best.
Yeah, Cinema Coke is the best. This is fact.
It's just true, like.
Yeah, so like, I can't believe like that they made it more expensive. Maybe that was one of the things allowing it to go onto a stream site as a rival to cinemas. They're like, well, we can't fuck over the cinema, so we have to make it more expensive. So people have that thing like, fuck that pay now, I'm going to the cinema. So that could be behind it. The reason why it's more expensive is it's like they don't want to be competing with cinemas. They don't want to kill off cinemas.
It was the same with like Mulan and stuff though as well.
Yeah.
That was like, I remember people giving out about how much that cost. Like, or you can just wait a few weeks till they take away the premium.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do. And after Space Jam, fucking with all those kids, I'm like definitely gonna wait. But we better move on to our stories today
before we get even more distracted.
Yeah, even more distracted. So we have few interesting stories, and there's a mom in America decided to move her kid's bed, and I got the story from the Mirror, UK Mirror, not the Irish one. It says Mirror, not Mirror, and she was left utterly gobsmacked after what she found underneath her kid's bed. I'm going to leave that to you to ponder. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail of what it could be and what instantly springs to your mind when you've seen that headline. Any single lads or ladies out there, don't worry, we got you covered this week on the podcast, because we have a study that has found the most successful chat-up lines used on Tinder, and we'll be talking about that, giving your own advice. Do you have any chat-up lines that you've heard? I know you haven't used any in a long time, but like, has anyone ever told you a chat-up line and you're going, oh, that is actually class?
No, they're always kind of shite, aren't they?
They are. Oh, I love how cringy they are. Like the cringier the better. I just love cringy chat lines. My favorite is like, "Hey, once there's a polar bear away, enough to break the ice."
I heard one recently, right? And you're gonna like this, as you like cheesy ones. Yeah. So it was like, "What's the difference between me and your heart? Your heart is pumping inside of you, and I should be pumping inside of you."
Yeah, there's a delicate line between like being cheeky and being like overly aggressive.
Being a sex offender.
Yeah, being a sex offender. Yeah. Being added to a certain sort of list. So we talking about ones that you might want to avoid if you don't want to be on any kind of registers or lists, and ones that like also are fails. And yeah, there's nothing really overtly surprising about this list, I would say. Like, there's nothing that's going to be like, oh my god, I never would have thought. Like, it's kind of funny when you see it actually in writing and studies. You're like, oh, right, well, yeah, well, that's obvious. But yeah, maybe it isn't obvious to some, and maybe we're like, oh, what do I need to know? And we got you covered. Our idiots of the week, we also got you covered, and it's heavily, like, we are always talking about which country is featured most on Idiots of the Week.
Do we have an answer to that?
We have double helping of America this week.
Double helping of America.
So, okay, I kind of feel bad. Like, this is, okay, pushing Bo out in terms of Idiots of the Week, in terms of if they should be on it or not. So, like, if this was any other country, you'd go, well, you know what? They don't have a lot of roundabouts in America, but Americans generally don't know how to operate on roundabouts because they're not used to roundabouts. And in Kentucky, there was a roundabout just plonked in the middle of a junction, and all hell basically broke loose on this roundabout. People are like, it confused me to look watch. I was confused. I was like, oh, why are everyone going to one way? Like, there's people on the wrong side of the road. There are people operating both sides of the roundabouts at simultaneous times. People just had no way of knowing, like, which is the exit, which is the entrance. There's no signs up. The whole entire thing was a shit show. Then and so, like, over here, restaurants are opening for indoor dining. There's all this debate about, like, you have to have a vaccine. You have to be fully vaccinated in order to go eat indoors, and it's so huge debacle about, like, fairness and discriminatory and blah 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 blah. Not going to get too much into that, but in California, there's a restaurant in California that went the completely opposite way. You can't be vaccinated. You have to prove to us that you're not vaccinated, and then you can eat in a restaurant. So if you have a vaccine,
how can you prove that you're not vaccinated?
They haven't actually explained. Like a lot of people who have similar ideologies to them, they have no real thought process behind this. They're just like, yeah, you have to prove so you have no vaccine. Like, how? I don't know. It just sounded good coming out of my mouth, and I'm going to enforce it by putting it on my front door of my restaurant. And now it's law.
Right.
So now they've wound up on Idiots of the Week.
Deservedly.
I'd say deservedly. Yeah. So yeah, that's our show today, and we might as well get into it. Gonna start off with the story that I found on the Mirror, where a mum, depending on where you're living in Kentucky, so it probably would be mum. She posted a video on TikTok. I'm kind of like over the whole mother shouldn't be on TikTok. People in their 30s, get off TikTok. It's not for you. Leave it to your kids. So she basically videoed her reaction and as well as what she found when she decided to move her kid's bed. What's the first thing that springs to mind, Ken, when you hear this story?
Nothing good.
Nothing good. Like I'm thinking, like generally first thing, if teenage boy, it has to be porn.
Yeah, just nastiness.
It's gonna be porn, tissues, or crusty socks.
Jesus.
Surely to God, it's gonna be one of those things. And no, it's not. It's none of those things. Believe it or not, I was like, oh, American kids are different. Because generally, like, I don't know, were you the cleanest human being growing up in your household as a teenage boy?
Like, in regards to like a tidy room, no.
No.
Definitely not. Like,
Yeah, like
I don't think even up until I moved out with my mum and dad's house, like I don't think my room was ever tidy.
There was definitely mouldy plates and cups left in my room for a good while. Like, so it's no surprise what she found was complete pigsty in her house. Wasn't too, I guess everything's gone digitally. The idea that like your ma's gonna find dirty magazines under your mattress is kind of gone. Nowadays, it's just food. Kids are hiding their wrappers and plates and disgusting things instead of bringing them down. Outside, out of mind.
Did you not just say that that's what you did?
What?
You had moldy plates and shit in your room.
Okay, I guess it's my generation too. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, but I can understand as a teenager, whereas if I can't see the mess, it's not actually there until I can smell it. It's like you walk into your room, you're like, why does your room smell? I don't know. It must be.
Yeah, you're kind of like, does it smell?
Does it smell? Fuck you. Your room smells.
Yeah.
But basically, what she found underneath the bed was just like a load of junk food, and plates and tissues, and so there was a few tissues there. And there's like, she was quite horrified by what she found. But surely she'd probably know her son. I imagine her son wasn't the cleanest in everyday life. If then a sudden she goes, "Oh my God, how he's leading a secret life of like filthiness."
Like, I'd imagine she was maybe slightly relieved that that was all she found.
Yeah, like, do you know, like, I don't know what you thought. Like, oh, Mum was like utterly gobsmacked when she what she found underneath her teenage son's bed. I was like, never touch anything in a teenage boy's room. Just presume it's filth, burn everything, and move on. That's why at age 10 you get them to clean their own room. Is that to prepare them for later on in life? It's just like, do you know what? You know what you'll find in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Move on. Let them do
it. Move on and say nothing.
Teach them to clean up after their mess.
But I think it's part of it's a lazy thing, though.
Yeah, like I was, to some extent still quite messy, but like there's always a point.
That's a shock mark.
Yeah, there's always a point where your room, even as a teenage boy, gets to a point where you're like, all right, it's now gone too far, and then everything has to be cleared out, and you have to start again. So you just let them lay in their filth, and eventually they'll go, oh, I better clean this thing. That's my parental advice for it. Have you ever heard of any horror stories of like lads' rooms of like got disgustingly things like just moldy socks or like disgustingly filthy plates or like anything like that?
I think I remember in school one of the lads had like I don't know why it was there, but he had like a sandwich in his wardrobe that was like liquefied.
Ah. Yeah, I remember once in my school bag, I forgot to take my lunchbox out of my school bag, and I had left it over a summer. Like, I opened it and steam came out. It was just this black mold and steam. I was like, oh.
Oh, Mark.
Ma'am, I need a new lunchbox. And I'm in school today.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it was just like, it's an easy thing to like forget to take out.
Is it?
Well, it's like last day of school. You're like, yeah. You're undressing into the hallway. You're like, yeah, I'm free. And you're like, I don't have to think about school ever again. And then September rolls around. You're like, Surely every person did that.
No, I don't think so.
You didn't do the celebrationally strip down and run around your house?
No, not really. I kind of just came home from school. I was like, oh, school holidays. Yeah.
I didn't. I kind of eased myself into, because like the last few days of school, it's not real school. It's like everyone's like, we're nearly at the end, and so it's like it's a lot.
Even the teachers kind of like, today we're going to watch. One of my best memories of like end of school was the last week in 6th class, and the teacher was kind of like, we're not really going to do anything. So we're going to do is I got this like copy pirate version of Pokemon movie. So who wants to watch Pokemon movie?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, so I just kind of didn't come in into school the last few days. It was like, which was like, I remember in first year, I got like student of the year, and my sister was like way too cool for school, like, and she went in the last day of the year, and I didn't, and she had to collect my, because we're in the same year, she had to collect my
collect your award.
My award, and she was mortified. She's like so embarrassed. She came out super pissed off at me. She goes, "Here's your fucking award, you swat!" And threw the little like thing at me. I was like, "Oh, I won something." I was like super excited. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I won! I never win anything." I think I was tipped off by one of the teachers that I was in the running for. He's like, "Oh yeah, so the word around the staff room is that you're in running for student of the year." I was like, "All right, cool." I have done nothing for this award. So like, obviously the bar was set pretty low in my school.
I think the bar was set fairly low in every school. Like student of the year in our school used to just be the person who took the least amount of days off.
Yeah, I think it was something similar. I think up until that point, I've never, I hadn't missed it.
Show up the most.
You can show up the most and be the most pleasant to a teacher.
Yeah. Oh, you've actually done what you're supposed to do in school, and you came to school. There's no award.
Your parents raised you well. Your sister, on the other hand,
have an award.
Yeah.
Your sister's a bitch.
Yeah, your sister's a complete cunt. But yeah, very fun. I've basically answered a lot of our single friends of the show or listeners. Like a lot of people might find the most difficult part of dating apps, Ken, of what to say, how to break the ice, and
yeah, that has been the most awkward thing like ever, because it's awkward talking to a stranger.
Yeah.
It's even more awkward if you're talking to a stranger like on a fucking app.
Yeah, that's the most awkward part about it. Is like a lot of people on these apps, they don't put a whole lot of details about themselves. Or when they do, it's kind of generic things. It's like, oh, I'm basically a standard human being. It's like, I like hanging out with my friends and family and exercising and going on holidays. It's like, what am I meant to do with that? Like, where am I meant to bring that? Like, to make a conversation out of that. You're like, oh yeah, you're basically like being alive. Yeah, cool. All right.
You like being a person.
You like being a person. Oh yeah, and you want me to be funny and interesting. Yeah. So like, so that part of it can be awkward enough, and can kind of a learning curve for some people. Some people pick up really easy, others don't. So this study kind of is maybe help out people who are on the latter part of that spectrum, and really struggling of what to say. So then like the study was quite limited. Like it was 237 people, all heterosexuals between 18 to 24, and seen they used different chat lines, and they basically said like how likely they would be to date them, and basically they got the data from this, and it was broken down to like four different types of chat lines. There was like humorous, complimentary, humorous and complimentary, and generic. And they gave kind of examples of this. So I think, like, I don't know. I think personally for me, complimentary doesn't work. Don't be complimentary on dating apps if you're a lad. They say do, but I say don't. I think it comes across very, very cheesy, and you kind of come across a bit of a creep. You don't want to come across a creep, so don't be. Never give a woman a compliment. That's what I'm basically saying.
It's going to end badly.
Yeah. Don't let them. Don't raise their self-esteem. Keep them low. Keep their self-esteem low. And that they're
mean, keep them keen.
Yeah, exactly. And like that, you're the best that they're ever going to do, and you'll be fine. That's my advice to lads. So they gave like examples of I think a complimentary one. That's not funny. So it's like something like, "You have a very nice smile." See, like imagine you were in a pub and someone walked up to you and said, "You have a very nice smile." You're like, "Oh, okay, cheers, thanks." If you just be awkward, if you like, "Thank you, person," and then what do you say after that? Where are you going to go after that conversation? You have a nice smile, thanks. Do I have to compliment you now?
Weirder things could happen to you.
Yeah, but do you know what? I love the next one because the next one's humorous, and this is a class chat line, by the way. I like this chat line. So it goes, "Do you have any raisins?" And then you wait for a reply saying no. And when they reply no, you go, "How about any dates?" And then you obviously give it like a little kind of winking emoji. Mine what I'd use, and a semi-successful with use of this one, and it's like, let's skip all the important parts and you get down and tell me your favorite Spice Girl.
Oh no!
Yeah, it had a pretty good response. The same. So then there's like a complimentary and humorous. So that's, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like, and then the generic one is just, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, what's up? I'd say would be the most successful of all of them.
"Hey, what's up?" actually is a pet peeve of a lot of people on Tinder. Like, saying to a girl, "Hey, what's up?" seems like such an open-winded conversation and lead nowhere, that do not use it, "Hey, what's up?" or "Hi." I'd say, just in personal experience, "Hey, what's up?" unless the girl is super into your profile and super into you, you probably won't get a response. The only thing is, when you do get a response, you kind of have a feeling that the person's into you.
This is where people are ridiculous. Like, it leaves it open then for the other person to lead the conversation.
Yeah, but okay, so if you are the one to interrogate,
like, you're also going to get girls going, "Oh, he was really creepy because he said fucking, let's skip all the bullshit and who's your favorite Spice Girl." Another weird thing.
You have to see yourself as a product when you're on dating sites, and that there is thousands of other products similar to you on the shelves, and you need.
That's why I never use the dating app.
Yeah,
see, I'm custom made.
Yeah, exactly, and you have to stick out amongst the crowd. So like, hey, what's up is like a plain packaging. It kind of blends in. You don't really see it in this thing. So you want something that like will make them laugh. You want something that like, go, "Oh, that," like, even just takes a second look at you. Something kind of odd of your profile. Like, I remember one girl with her profile as if it was a CV.
You see, that kind of stuff, like that, if that was me, I'd be like, "Oh, here, fuck off."
See, like, well, it catches people's eye. People go, "Oh, that's actually quite funny. She's humorous. She seems like good crack."
Here's the thing, like, in a real life situation, like, if you were to actually go and talk to people, "Hey, what's up?" is going to be your most successful fucking thing to do. rather than going up to somebody and saying something absolutely fucking retarded.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, and I think more than that, like the most successful thing for people isn't chat lines. It's to actually look at the profile, see what they're into, and start a conversation about them, about something that they're into, or something about their profile. Like, if you can make a person seem like you've actually invested time into, and you're not just swiping and messaging any person you match with, you'll have more of a successful thing. So, like, look at the profile, look at like where they went on holidays, look at what's in their photos, like, or what are their interests, and try to make a conversation or an open remark about something that's in their profile or something that they've written down that they like, rather than, hey, how much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice. That'll work on a certain few people who, like, if you can make them laugh, or if you can, like, try to get a conversation going. Like, mine was like, so how will we tell our friends how we met? So, like, some people would say prison. I'm like, I guess stealing your heart could be considered a crime or something like that. So, like, if you can lead it down a path where it will lead into a conversation. But yeah, but generally you want to get a ball rolling and something. You want to get, like, a conversation started somewhere. Like, another one was, like, I seen the girl was interrupted and was like, do you ever think Johnny Sexton ever thinks just before he takes a kick, did I forget to turn off the immersion? Like, does his mind ever wander? And, like, then we just had a conversation about that. It's but anyway, what the research came out was nothing to do with what we just said. So what the hell do we know? But they said funny and complimentary chat lines land the best, either just as well as each other if you're talking to a girl. And then the professor of the study basically said combinations like complimentary and funny didn't work well or wasn't very successful, and generic probably worked at least. So when it comes to, like, trying to pick up lads, like, what do you think as a lad works the best on lads?
So just walking up and saying hi and being female.
Do you know what? You'd actually be right. It actually doesn't matter what you say to lads. Anything will do. Anything of the above. It all depends on what you look like. And according to this research of the 230 people, it's just basically what you look like. If you're attractive and they find you attractive, you can say anything to them and they'll have high percentage of going on a date with you. So yeah, don't have a personality basically with a girl. You don't have to worry about your personality. Just worry about what you look like.
Yeah. Lads are easy.
This it's kind of like that song, you know. I don't care about your personality or your college degree. Just show me your genitals. Show me your genitals.
I remember that song.
Genitalia. It's basically, that song is 100% accurate when it comes to lads. And that's all girls need to know. Like, lads, you have to, like, they're like, okay, you can't be too funny and you can't be too complimentary, and you have to talk to them about, like, something that they're interested in, and you have to find something about their interests, and they're not going to pull up anything about their interests. Go. And with girls, it's just like, if you like it, you like it. Like, if you think you're hot, show them. Show a bit of cleavage. It'll be all right.
Sometimes you don't even need to.
If you're very attractive, you don't need to. You can be, yeah.
You can just be there.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
So yeah, that's our. I don't know how helpful we've been to our single listeners. What do you think?
Even a little bit.
Like, I don't know if they're probably more confused by now after hearing us talk about like, they're like, oh my god, our answers have been solved. We're going to get chat lines that we can use on a Tinder site. And other than the one that I thought was funny, do you any whatever raisins? I thought that was solid.
Well, I'm married, so I don't really know anything about anything.
Yeah. Like, I always just say volume works. Message enough people, you'll get there eventually. as I go down the shop assistant shop kind of line very much. Sometimes you just have to lower your prices, go on sale.
So you're on sale? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that's like some people just like lower their standards, go on sale, first come first serve, and just get the ball rolling. And eventually that doesn't work, you go to the next one. That doesn't work, you go to the next one. Anyone that I've went on dates with now is going.
We're going to get sued now for a lot of bad dates.
Sued for a lot of bad dates. Yeah, and I don't know how my current girlfriend, if she's listened to this, feels like, what, was I on sale?
Oh yeah, you're just after opening up a whole fucking big bag of worms there.
Eventually someone good will come along and then you'll look at it. Yeah.
I'm saying nothing.
I've said too much.
you were getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah, you just keep digging. Is this all getting deeper? How am I getting myself into more trouble?
Podcast over.
Yeah, so idiots of the week is
Mark.
Soon to be on Tinder again, Mark Kearns. But it's actually two Americans, and I kind of feel like maybe these people is Kentucky, because like I've been at road junctions that I'm not familiar with, and I'm like, how does this work? Am I using it right? Probably not. And then so like roundabouts aren't that common in America, and in Kentucky they got their first in I don't know if it's the whole of Kentucky. It could be in like the southeast region of Kentucky that this roundabout was just plonked in the middle of it. And like
as you do, like
yeah, like if you live in Ireland or other parts of Europe, like roundabouts are very commonplace. They're everywhere. You're taught as you learn to drive how to use roundabouts. So
yeah,
like you go kind of grow up with them or used to them.
Not many people actually fucking pick up on how to use them correctly. But...
Yeah. There's a lot of that, people not knowing how to use a roundabout, even though they're taught from year dot how to operate, and they have to know on the oral side of how to operate. Yeah, a lot of people just go, I've passed my license, I can drive the way I want.
Yeah.
But they weren't as bad maybe as people who weren't ever taught in Kentucky, and who just had this in the middle of a junction, had this roundabout plopped there, and it kind of looks like it was made by two lads who just had a go at making a roundabout as well.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, do you know the thing? Like, there's runoff of, I don't know if it's liquid or just leftover thing on the ground. It just like it just looked like they got some orange brick and just made a circle out of it, and then they have dividing for like barriers for the different lanes, but absolutely no signs or road markings or any way of like maybe introducing a person to the first time of a roundabout and how it works. Because like if you're in anywhere in Europe, roundabouts, even though we're taught about them, like from when we start driving, we have to learn about how to operate on a roundabout. There's signs everywhere. Like even if you weren't familiar with roundabouts, there's actually signage around the road to show you how, like, this is the exit, this is where you exit, and this is where you enter. Like on the roads, if you look at the different exits, there's a kind of arrow saying come off here, and there'll be road markings say if you want to go right, this is the lane you might be in. If you want to go left, this is the lane you want to be in.
Yeah.
So like this had no road marks. This is like, considering that it was the first roundabout in southeast Kentucky, let's just say, it could be in some other part of Kentucky. I think it's southeast. They just plonked it there and they said, yeah, they'll figure it out.
That's like, like Leitrim.
Yeah.
Only got their first set of traffic lights a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Like the whole county had no fucking traffic lights. And I know somebody who lives near these, and I remember at the time he was like, our farmers are just driving through them. Like they don't care. They just pretend they're not even there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, fuck them. Like they never needed them before. Why do they use them now?
Yeah, like it's obviously like a thing where like I've been driving through this junction for fucking 55 years and never needed to use a traffic light.
Yeah, like it's so. I guess when you're not like some Walker Construction, who obviously probably were behind the roundabout themselves, decided a video the carnage that they just ensued in the whole of Kentucky, and it just shows locals of the area basically driving on the wrong side of the road, the wrong way around the roundabout, entering an junction and going the wrong way that you're meant to go around the roundabout, not being confused about which side is the exit and which side is the on-ramp, and just not knowing what to do. So like then cars would meet in the middle and they'd have to negotiate where to go, but neither of them knew where to go. So there's this kind of like inching and going, do I go here, do I go here? And they'd actually like exit the on-ramp, and like the other car would then exit the like exit ramp, and then they'd be going up two different roads, and you're like, you're now just driving on the wrong side of the road. I look at absolute mayhem, and there's a radio station that had it was northeastern Kentucky. This was the first roundabout. So there's like a radio station that had callers in, and the locals, to say the least, the locals were just weren't happy about this roundabout. I don't think there'll be too many more roundabouts put in the northeast Kentucky area after this, because like the junction was working fine prior to this, and why would you stick this thing in when none of us know how to use it?
Why would you not?
Yeah, exactly. Especially like you think like, oh, we're going to stick a roundabout in. We're going to probably have to do like some way of like showing them how to use a roundabout. Like, you know, those orange signs that alert people when there's crashes. Like just show them like you take a right and go around, and like just show on a few diagrams of how to enter. You're approaching a roundabout. This is how you enter a roundabout.
Do it like this, you fool.
Yeah, so like I think we should clarify that the idiots of the week aren't necessarily the good people of northeastern Kentucky, but first of all, the construction company that did a half-arsed job of the construction of the roundabout, because like thing's a joke. And then obviously just people, the road safety authority of their area, just going, yeah, we don't need to explain it, it's kind of self-explanatory. If you've ever been on holidays in Europe, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'd be fine, don't worry about it. You'd imagine they would have like maybe done like TV ads or something, but I suppose they probably just assumed people would know how to.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, they have them in other parts of America and they didn't need TV ads.
They didn't need to be explained anything.
Yeah, exactly. Our people are smarts.
That's America.
Yeah, exactly. We'll figure it out. So, talking about America, now the next people who feature our Idiots of the Week definitely do deserve to be our Idiots of the Week. And this restaurant, prior to their stance on vaccines, had a similar stance to anti-masks. So, they decided that their restaurant would ban wearing masks in the restaurant. So like, even if you were kind of COVID hesitant but you wanted to eat in the restaurant, you weren't allowed to wear a mask. You had to take your mask off before entering the restaurant. They'd probably not let you in anyway, even if you try to wear a mask. If you see you wearing a mask, they'd be like, no, we don't take kindly your type around here. Get out. So they've now taken the similar stance, like I said, to the vaccine. And you have to be unvaccinated if you want to eat in their restaurant. But not only that,
how do you prove that?
Yeah, but not only that, you have to prove that you're unvaccinated as well. It's not like, it'd be different if they had someone on the door going, sorry, but are you vaccinated? And if they said yeah, then they say sorry, move on. And they just left it as people, we'll just see if people are honest, they're honest. If they're not, they're not. We're just gonna have it as a stance, and we're just going to let it know that this is our stance on vaccinations. But like the fact that it says that they have to prove it.
Yeah, like how do you prove that you're not vaccinated?
I don't know, because staff aren't actually asking customers if they're vaccinated or not. So there's no one coming up to when you book a table at this place, or if you walk in for walk-in service, there's no one coming up to you and saying, hey, we just have to ask if you're vaccinated. No one's saying that. So like, I think they just put it up just to say, this is our stance. And they haven't really thought about any of the like fundamentals of how to actually apply this law or rule to their actual restaurant.
They seem a bit stupid.
Do you know what? Like, I can understand people in restaurants being not happy with like being shut down for a year or for long periods of time, or even having to move to takeaway, because it probably like pretty decimated their kind of business. Even if they were doing takeaway, there wouldn't be a lot of people buying takeaway. I know a lot of restaurants around here that did takeaway. Like, they had to shut down anyway. They had to go full. Like, they didn't bother because it was just costing money to have staff there to cook the food, and then people to hand the food out to customers when they came to collect it. So, like, it wasn't worth a while opening. So I can understand them being like anti-restrictions, like, or being like, oh, we've taken enough of this, being like, we're not applying any more of your rules anymore. We just want to open. Our business is struggling. We can't take any more restrictions. We're going to open, and we're not going to ask them for vaccination certs, because like I can understand people being kind of hesitant about the vaccine, but like, even if you were hesitant about the vaccine, even if you were like weren't vaccinated, I don't know if you'd feel comfortable going to a restaurant that's anti-vaccine, like this, that says like, we're going to go out of our way of like making sure no one's vaccinated in this. Like,
yeah, like, I don't understand how you're going to cheat. Like, how you're going to check that?
Because like, okay, I have a pretty good metaphor between like a restaurant and a brothel, right? So this is my vaccine comparison between restaurants and brothels, right? There's some lads who don't like wearing condoms. There's some lads who don't mind wearing condoms, and there's some lads that only have sex if they have condoms on. So there's that spectrum, kind of like vaccines. So like, you might, if you're a person who didn't like wearing a condom, and there's a brothel out there that you didn't have to wear a condom, it might be more desirable for you because you wouldn't have to wear a condom. But even if you were anti-condom, you'd be absolutely bonkers out of your mind to go into a brothel that was anti-condoms. If you went into a brothel that was like, you are not allowed to wear condoms, you are taking your life into your own hands in that scenario. Like, you mean like, and you outright ban it. Like, we do not let anyone wear condoms. You would be like, you'd be a little bit crazy to go in there, even if you like didn't like wearing condoms. Like, the most filthiest of filthy creatures are probably going to go to that brothel. And I kind of feel like the same thing applies to restaurants. Like, even if you were like, you weren't going to get the vaccine, you're not going to go to like a restaurant that openly doesn't allow either their staff be vaccinated or their customers be vaccinated.
But you probably will.
Do you think? I think you will get customers. Like,
if you're completely anti-vax and you're like, oh, it's all a lot of shite and it's nonsense, then you're going to go, I'm going to go support this restaurant because they're thinking like I am.
Yeah, you would, but if you were, let's say, so that's the extreme side of it. So you'll get extremes going there, like the fucking brothel. You're going to get dirty, filthy creatures that are like, I hate condoms, I'm going to go there. But like, if you're the kind of sort that were like, I'm going to wait for to get a vaccine, I'm not going to get it straight away, or you're like, I'm not too sure, I'm gonna just see how it plays out. I'm gonna give it 6 months. I'm gonna give it a year, and then maybe after a year, or I'm gonna wait till the winter. I'm gonna wait till the winter where it's been out a year-ish, or almost a year, and then I'm gonna get it. Then like, you're probably not going to go to the one that's like saying, oh, we don't allow anyone to have a vaccine. Come in here. You'd be like, I'm gonna go to the one down the road. I'm gonna go to a different one. I'm gonna go to one that doesn't seem filthy.
And then I have so many questions about this. So what happens if you're an employee that gets a vaccine?
You're fired.
So that's unfair dismissal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think
that's using what they're claiming everybody else is doing to them against somebody else.
Yeah, well, that's what they will claim, and
you can't get fired for not getting vaccinated. So how could you get fired for being vaccinated?
See, I think it's kind of like they haven't really thought this through, and this comes through a lot of like anti-vaxxers. They don't think anything really through too much. Like, a lot of their logics can be broken up by simple reasoning. So like they're not they haven't went out of their way to ask people if they're being vaccinated or not, other than sticking an A4 piece of paper on the front of their door. I'm pretty sure they're not going to ask their staff. Now, if you find out if their staff is vaccinated, that'll be interesting, because like obviously unfair dismissal could be a thing. Like,
and then are they specifically referencing COVID vaccinations, or do they mean all vaccines?
I imagine it's just a COVID one.
But does it say that?
It doesn't say particularly. It just says, they had a quote up here from the restaurant. "We have zero tolerance on treasonous anti-American stupidity," reads the post on their social media. And Basello's Paste Vino, it's like an Italian kind of restaurant in Huntington Beach.
That makes it even better. So they're Italian, wasn't it? Italian was like the worst country in fucking Europe hit by the fucking thing.
Italian American, yeah. In Europe it was, and it still has like one of the worst deaths, like per capita per 100,000. Yeah, but like people do say like for like here, like the big claim is like it's discriminatory and it's unconstitutional because it's discriminatory. And my logic behind that is all laws are discriminatory. Like, we discriminate between people who are pissed drunk and people who are sober driving cars. We discriminate, like if I was 16 years old and wanted to buy alcohol, I'm not allowed because of my age. At 30 years old, I am not allowed to run for president of Ireland until I'm 35. If like I go into if I was 18 and I go into a nightclub that's over 21s, I can't get in, even though legally I'm allowed to drink. Like, rules and laws are always going to be discriminatory. That's the basis of the law. Is so we discriminate against people for different things.
Yeah, like there's a lot of
all laws are discriminatory. You tick fucks.
Like every law discriminates against somebody.
So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of these things are like really easily debuffed. Like their policy about like not having. What if one of your staff gets vaccinated? Are they allowed to work there? Because if you fire them, they're going to sue you.
Yeah, I think they didn't think that through properly.
I imagine that a lot of maybe they're a small restaurant and a lot of their staff are anti-vax as well.
They probably are, but like you're going to have at least somebody who's working there who's going to be like, "Oh, why are you going on with this shit?"
Yeah, they're like, "Well, I got my vaccine," and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? I'll sue you if you fire me. They're like, "Oh, we're going to have to keep her working," or him, who it is. Yeah, but we'll leave it there with you can't fire people for getting the vaccine.
Yeah, you take fuck.
You take fuck. I like my brothel analogy. I thought it was good. I think people.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some holes in the condom story there.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean there's holes? No one got pregnant. I think it works perfectly well. They're like, people are anti-condom. People don't mind wearing a condom, but like they prefer not to. Some people will only have sex wearing a condom. This is like vaccines. Some people like are hesitant about vaccines. Some people are against them altogether, and some people think, yeah, they're about one of the biggest medical achievements of the 20th and 21st century. So I think the analogy is solid and can be used in classrooms and colleges alike.
In classrooms and colleges alike.
It's like the tea thing. Oh wait, I haven't talked about the tea thing. Never mind. Forget the tea thing.
Forget the tea thing.
Yeah. We're getting very close to our 204 show. Our next one is our 203rd. It's like the eve of our 204th.
It's 204 Eve.
Yeah, exactly. So, super excited for that show. At least we don't have to have anything prepared for. And then our 204th show is after that. And the big one.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, so much planned for that.
So much cool stuff coming.
Talk to you then.
Shut up and sit down.